Hi, my name is Mary, and I am going to be showing you how to do a quick, easy DIY patchwork applique tee like the one I have on. Super simple, very easy, and very customizable. The possibilities are kind of endless, and I made this with things I just had lying around in my craft room. So let's get into it. Let's go through all of the supplies. You'll need 805 Wonder Under interfacing. It's a pretty essential piece for this, as well as some sharp scissors to cut out all of your shapes or letters. Of course, you're going to need a t-shirt. You can always use a thrifted one, but I had this Gildan shirt from Michaels. Just any plain t-shirt material shirt should work. You'll need the fabric for the applique itself. I used some cotton scraps I had laying around, but you could also use linen if you have any, and really just whatever patterns that seem interesting to you. You'll need an iron and an ironing board, preferably one that has a steam setting. Sewing machine capable of zigzag stitch. And lastly, some contrasting polyester thread. Next, it's time to create the stencil for our shapes or letters. I created what I wanted in Canva and then imported it into Cricut and cut out the stencils with cardstock on my Cricut. You could do this freehand or print out the letters and then cut them out and use that as a stencil, but I found that using my Cricut was the fastest way to get the look I wanted. Now it's time to prep the fabric by putting on the Wonder Under interfacing. This interfacing basically turns fabric into applique. It makes it sturdier and it makes it so we can actually fuse it to the fabric itself. I went ahead and put the Wonder Under on some scraps that I had. Essentially, there is a rough side and a smooth side. You're going to iron on the rough side according to the instructions on the Wonder Under. And then you should have almost like a paper backing on the back of your fabric. The next step is cutting out all of our letters using our stencils that we just made. So I'm writing on the back of the fabric where the Wonder Under has been attached on the paper backing. Make sure that if you're doing letters, you are flipping your letters to be backwards so that they're facing the right way when you flip the fabric over. And then I'm just going to town on getting them all cut out so that they're ready for the next step. All that's left to do now is to iron on and sew on the letters onto your shirt. I'm going to be showing you how to do it with a zigzag stitch on a sewing machine, but you could totally do it by hand. Now it's time for the important step of ironing on the letters. Take all the time you need and get it adjusted how you want to. I just spaced it out and kind of did it by eye, but you can measure too if that's helpful. The good thing about Wonder Under is that even after you pull off the paper backing, it's not sticky, so you can still adjust it even after you've taken off the backing. Go through and press it with your iron, making sure you're not rubbing too much, more so pressing with a light steam, and it should stick right on. Let's sew. I start off by setting my sewing machine to a straight stitch, putting my length around 1 and my width at 0. I then go ahead and use a straight stitch forward and back to secure the stitch. After I have that stitch secured down, I'm going to change it to a zigzag stitch, keep my length at 1, and change my width to around 3, 2-ish. When using the zigzag stitch for this, you want to make sure that the outside part of the stitch is on the edge of the fabric and the inside part of the stitch is inside of the letter. When it comes time to turn a corner, stop with the needle down right on the edge of the corner on a stitch where the needle is outside of the fabric of the letter. Pick up your presser foot, turn it, and put it back down and continue sewing as normal. This is how I've found with some trial and error to have the cleanest looking corners. When you get back to where you started, adjust your sewing machine to be back to straight stitch and the width at 0, and do a few stitches forward and backward to secure all your stitches. I find that this is the most secure way to hold everything down and it looks the best long term. And then you just repeat for the rest of your letters. If you're doing things like an A that have a space in between, make sure that you are doing that as well so that nothing unravels. Essentially, you just want all of the stitches to encase the edge of the letters so that nothing unravels. I hope you had fun making a patchwork tee. The options are endless. You could do a bag, a hat, and they make a great gift.